Did you hear about the psychic midget that robbed a bank? Now there's a small medium at large.
I remember being able to get up without making sound effects.
When someone asked what I did over the weekend, I squint and ask, why, what did you hear?
It's the start of a brand new day, and I'm off like a herd of turtles.
The past, the present, and the future walk into a bar. It was tense.
It's the start of a brand new day, and I'm off like a herd of turtles. I finally got 8 hours of sleep. It took me 3 days, but whatever.
When you do squats, are your knees supposed to sound like a goat chewing on an aluminum can stuffed with celery?
Little Susie walks in on her parents making love. She was told to wait downstairs. Her mother comes down first and tries to console her. "Mommy, what were you doing to Daddy?" "Well, sweetheart, you know how your father's a little overweight? Every day I bounce up and down on top of him to let some of the air out." The little girl starts laughing. "What's so funny, honey?" asks her mother. "You're wasting your time, Mommy. Every day when you go to work, the neighbor comes over and blows him right back up."
If you're sitting in public and a stranger takes the seat next to you, just stare straight ahead and say, "Did you bring the money?" When I say the other day, I could be referring to any time between yesterday and 15 years ago. When one door closes, and another door opens, you are probably in prison. I had my patience tested. I'm negative.
An artist asked a gallery owner if there had been any interest in her paintings that were on display. "Well, I have good news and bad news," the owner responded. "The good news is that a gentleman noticed your work and wondered if it would appreciate in value after your death. I told him it would and he bought all 10 of your paintings." "That's wonderful," the artist exclaimed. "What's the bad news?" "The gentleman was your doctor?"
When you ask me what I'm doing today, and I say nothing, it does not mean I am free. It means I am doing nothing. To me, drink responsibly means don't spill it.
A blind man walks into a bar. And a table. And a chair.
I hate when a couple argues in public, and I missed the beginning and don't know whose side I'm on.
An elderly man goes into a brothel and tells the madam he would like a young girl for the night. Surprised, she looks at the ancient man and asks how old he is. "I'm 90 years old," he says. "90?" replies the woman. "Don't you realize you've had it?" "Oh, sorry," says the old man. "How much do I owe you?" I recently took a trip to Latin America. My only regret is that I didn't study Latin harder in school, so I could converse with those people.
My girlfriend asked me to tell her the names of all my previous girlfriends. Chronologically. From beginning to end. I probably should have stopped when I got to her name. And that's how the fight started. A husband and a wife are having dinner at a nice restaurant. The woman drops some tomato sauce on her white top. "Oh no, I look like a pig." The man nods. "Also, you dropped some tomato sauce on your shirt." And that's how the fight started. "Darling, I think the new dryer is shrinking my clothes." "No, sweetie. That was the fridge." And that's how the fight started. A woman went to a pet shop and spotted a large, beautiful parrot. There was a sign on the cage that said $5. "Why so cheap?" she asked the pet store owner. He said, "Look, I should tell you first that this bird used to live in a whorehouse, and sometimes it says some pretty vulgar stuff." The woman thought about this, but decided she had to have the bird anyway. She took it home and hung the bird's cage up in her living room and waited for it to say something. The bird looked around the room, then at her, and said, "New house, new madam." The woman was a bit shocked at the implication, but then thought, that's really not so bad. When her 2 teenage daughters returned from school, the bird saw them and said, "New house, new madam, new girls." The girls and the woman were a bit offended, but then began to laugh about the situation, considering how and where the parrot had been raised. Moments later, the woman's husband Frank came home from work. The bird looked at him and said, "Hi Frank." And that's how the fight started.